Welcome back, guys, to the A-List Lowdown for coming at you on Canada Day. So it's a Canada Day A-List live coming at you. I'm sure most people taking the day off. We've got Cavin, Carney, and OECD versus Canada, as well as a few other fantastic things. I'm sure if you guys are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Help us reach that next level of monetization. See if we can't make a buck over here doing this. And if you want to support us directly, you can head to a-list.ca where there's a support page, and you can get this in podcast form as well. It just so if you want someone who doesn't like YouTube, but they do like podcasts, they can absorb there. Maybe that's you. Maybe you listen mostly in podcasts, but you just came across this. You can get it in podcast form. So that's it. We'll come at you with hopefully a good show. It's Canada Day. Are you celebrating?
Well, we had a parade go by our house, a little town, a village parade.
Did you go outside?
Like, what?
Did you leave the house as the parade came by, or?
Yeah, I did. We went out and sat there and watched it for a while, and we were working on the basement at the time. And
did they throw you candy?
Yeah, they threw candy, and yeah, I guess that's a thing. I mean,
yeah. It's always, it seems to be a new thing where they just throw candy. Did you get candy? Did you take the candy? Did you eat some?
No, I didn't. Oh, I had two little bits.
So the plot thickens already. It goes from no to, well, just a little bit.
Yeah, well, because I kept refusing, and then finally I took a little bit. But yeah, I was like, I wonder if that company that I work for, like painting, wow, he should be in here. And then sure enough, he drove by.
So, nice. Yeah. You could have been on the float.
I could have been on the float. I know. I should have said, why didn't you invite me in for the parade?
With your Grimericans shirt on.
Adult brain audiobooks. Anyways, I don't know. I'm feeling a bit weird, to be honest, about the show. I feel like there's all these little stories that just get overplayed in the YouTube and X spaces, and everybody railing against this and that. And
you know what the difference is, though, is that we have this in podcast form. So we probably have a bunch of people that listen to this that don't go near those spaces. I really think that's the difference between us and a lot of Canadian content creators. They don't. I might be ignorant to the fact that they're available in podcast form, but I'm not sure that a lot of it is. If it is, I haven't seen it promoted.
Yeah, I kind of thought about that because some of these things are a little older. Like I feel like I've saved a couple of segments, and they kind of keep getting sidelined for more important current event things. But then I'm like, that kind of needs to be talked about. So that's one of the hard things, is deciding like what we should talk about, because we can't really stay super current because we're not a daily show, right? It's kind of like No Agenda. They do theirs two days a week. So there's stuff that's a few days old, but they're trying to deconstruct it. And so maybe it's nice because we can sort of take a few items that are 1, 2, or 3 days old and sort of combine them together for a segment. But I don't know. I'm also feel like we're living in this world where everybody's just in their own bubble, and these things happen like the Trump, like Cavin, Carney. I bet you I know what you're going to talk about. And it's like there's a bunch of people that just think he's great, and there's a bunch of people that think he caved. I mean, it's like we're all living in our own little world. It's just a completely different reality. Like his supporters they just support everything. And then you hear him going on in these interviews, and I'm like, dude, you just keep talking about us being this powerful economic country, and you're not doing anything to make it happen.
Well, you do remember that I predicted on this show that the conservatives and we might have talked about this already, but that the conservatives and the liberals will be passing legislation together. I said it would be Pierre and Carney, but Pierre's not there right now. But it's Pierre's party and Carney passing legislation for us, which is troubling. Maybe not. I don't think we did talk about it on the show, because I actually think we were in the airport on our way down to Tennessee when I noticed on the thing, and I was like, look at that. I fucking called it.
Which one are you talking about? Bill C5 or whatever?
I think it's Bill C5. Yeah, the one that the conservatives and the liberals supported. So that either means A, it's great legislation and everybody agrees with it, or B,
it's the uniparty.
It's the uniparty.
it seems like we're having uniparty problems all over the West. I mean, I keep seeing these videos and podcasts where people are like, the people don't want this, but there's no chance you're gonna get it. I mean, it's just the UK is falling apart. The States, I mean, Elon's threatening to make his own political party because the big beautiful bill is getting passed, and he wants to primary all the Republicans that voted for it. I mean, it's Like that whole drama has not ended, and Trump's saying it. He wants to look at deporting Elon and cut out all his subsidies. He wouldn't be the richest man on earth if he didn't have all our subsidies. I mean, it's
Are they
really
fighting again?
weird. They're fighting again. Yeah, it's
Ah,
super weird. It's not over yet.
interesting. I thought that blew over.
I know, but that big beautiful bill's still there. I think they hacked out that AI part that you and I went over on Outlawed, which I kind of didn't agree with you on that about the AI restrictions for the states, you know.
You know what is interesting to go back a few minutes is that we're actually quite popular on TikTok. Even though
Oh my
neither
God.
of us is on TikTok. But every once in a while I get emails saying that one of our clips got a bunch of views.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, why not? This is kind of, we're chopping it up anyway. So,
Yeah, exactly. So I mean the back end software sends it to all of them automatically. It won't even let me check because I don't have the TikTok app. So I can't even really look at anything.
oh my
So,
God. Well, that's good. I got to try and not get sucked into X. I mean, I'm on there for the show, and then I just start looking at these videos that mean nothing to me. I'm like, why am I watching this video about, some crazy thing that I really don't want to see?
I
And a
make
lot of them are traumatic too.
Yeah, I make a point not to go on until I'm doing that show
Sure.
prep and just do it just then. And we went down to the river for a little bit today, swam in the river. I mean, it's kind of shitty right now because it's high and muddy because of all the rain that we had recently. So it's not as clear as it usually is, and it's moving, so you can't really get out too far. Anyway,
Timmy Bush all masked up is in the house, or is that a smile?
I think that's a smile.
Oh, it
Yeah, I
looks like
think
a
that's
mask
a smile.
emoji.
So
Ian
mostly Americans in the audience as usual.
Ian's here too. Yeah. Americans learning about how Canada, how their new state is behaving up north.
That's right.
One of
So
my favorite posts was about that. So we'll do let's do your segment, and then I can just finish it off with a funny quote from Table Salt.
okay, let's start with
Talk-
we'll start with this one and then we'll move on to the other one. It's a 2 clipper. So let's see how this volume is.
In hopes that there's a quid pro quo.
So this is the former ambassador for Canada to the US, I believe.
And that Canada will get something out of that. But of course, that wasn't announced. We just know that Canada made a concession on really quite short notice after a social media statement by the leader of a foreign country. And so given that that's sort of poor negotiating tactics, it must be a reflection that we're under severe pressure. And I think we should really brace for what might be quite a difficult outcome when these talks come to a conclusion. One hopes that.
So we got that clip.
So what's the context there? What's he's talking about? The clip on
Well, about him talking
the DST, which is the digital services tax.
Yeah, which I have a breakdown of at the end of this, but
Okay.
that's of course the big one that they refused to move on. They fought in court with Google, and Facebook just banned news on all of their platforms because the government wouldn't budge. And then in a couple days after Trump, from what it sounds like, is that Trump basically said that this is a non-starter. And we just said, okay, well, we'll get rid of it.
Well, that's such a stupid thing to begin with, dude. Why the government should just do nothing in Canada? Just don't do anything. No more new taxes, no more nothing. The more you do, the more things get messed up.
Here's the American take on it.
Look at wouldn't you hate to be in that crowded room?
Canada says it's now dropping its digital services tax on American tech companies days after President Trump says he's halting all trade talks with Canada. First, what's the president's reaction to this? Can you tell us more about his call with Prime Minister Carney over the weekend? How did he get Carney to drop it? And also, what's the impact on American tech companies given this latest progress as the president says he has been fighting for American tech companies?
It's very simple. Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved to President Trump in the United States of America. And President Trump knows how to negotiate, and he knows that he is governing the best country and the best economy in this world, on this planet. And every country on the planet needs to have good trade relationships with the United States. And it was a mistake for Canada to vow to implement that tax that would have hurt our tech companies here in the United States. The president made his position quite clear to the prime minister, and the prime minister called the president last night to let the president know that he would be dropping that tax, which is a big victory for our tech companies and our American workers here at home.
And on Harvard, if you don't mind,
So there you have it. Elbows up, baby.
So what's the purpose of this tax? I mean, the I've seen a bunch of Carney supporters saying, "Oh, it's not a big deal. It wasn't really going to increase. Is it really going to increase our expenses?" Are you kidding me? 3% is quite huge on all these digital services, as if things don't cost enough here in Canada.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, their reaction was to just not, because I think, well, let's go through it, but maybe this isn't the news one that I thought it was. Prime Minister Mark Carney said progress is being made after trying to reach a deal with the United States hours after his government said it will abandon its digital services tax following U.S. President Donald Trump's declaration that talks would end over the tax. So let's go down here, see if we say. Carney and Trump had agreed at the G7 summit in Alberta to reach a trade deal within 30 days, with July 21st being a firm date now advanced by Ottawa. Regarding the digital sales tax, it came into force in June 2024, but applies retroactively to 2022, and payments to the Canada Revenue Agency were due on June 30th of this year.
That's why it came up so hot and heavy a couple days ago, yesterday.
The tax, with a rate of 3%, applies to foreign and domestic large businesses offering digital services to Canadians, such as online marketplaces and social media. Washington, under different administrations, has said it unfairly targets U.S. companies. It doesn't make sense to collect a tax from people and then remit them back, so it provides some certainty, Carney said.
Can you imagine that? Just let's stop there for that sentence there. Just read that sentence again, please, for our people in Canada that need to hear what Carney said about this remittance back.
It doesn't make sense to collect tax from people and then remit them back, so it provides some certainty.
Like the GST rebate? Like the GST, like the carbon tax rebate, like half the taxes that you tax us, and then you spend a bunch of millions of dollars administering it back to us, or back to the poorest of us.
His government had, up until recently, defended the tax. This was voted on by Parliament, so we're going to go ahead with the digital sales tax, Finance Minister Francois Philippe Champagne said on June 19th. So it sounds like we don't need to vote on with Parliament to trash it, though. You know, I'm going to check on GPT what the digital sales tax is. But I swear it's the one that causes the news agencies, like basically the Facebook news would have to pay.
Yeah, but it's not only that, it's also Uber apparently, and it's online services as well. So Google, Uber. So it's not just streaming services or media.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Who's affected? The DST targets both foreign and Canadian companies that meet the following thresholds: global revenues of at least 1.1 billion, Canadian digital services revenue exceeding 20 million annually, online marketplaces, online advertising services targeting Canadian users, social media services involving Canadian user interaction. So the international response, the DST has faced criticism, particularly from the United States, which argues that it disproportionately affects American tech companies. In response to Canada's implementation of the DST, President Donald Trump announced the termination of trade negotiations.
David says in the chats here, we should probably read some of the chats sometimes here. Carney caved and then gave a grim reaper doom and gloom Canada Day message. What leader does that? Just saw that Trump's tax cuts will put 10,000 back in American pockets. Carney is bragging about his tax break, which is 1%, I think, which is $400 per year. What a effing joke.
Should we watch Carney's Canada Day message?
Yeah, sure. Let me finish this off first, though, because people are just saying, look at Trump did more for Canada's economy by getting that tax axed than the Canadian politicians. So here's table salt. Dear Donald Trump, de facto Prime Minister of Canada, can you give Carney an ultimatum on the following items? Disband supply management, cut foreign aid to zero, balance the budget in 3 years, get rid of internet censorship laws, cut immigration to essential jobs that can be filled after 6 months of documented attempts, no path to citizenship for 10 years, 4 years in jail for fraud, mass deportation of those who do not follow our immigration laws, mass refugee reform, only for countries in active conflict where lives are at serious risk. I mean, that's a good start to the list, Table Saw, but we can add a whole bunch of stuff to that. I mean,
We could add some more to that.
let's get into crime and drugs and resource extraction. I mean,
All right, let's jump. Let's see. I have not listened to this yet. So have you?
I think I might have heard clips from it because he's talking about how big it wasn't doom and gloom from what I heard. It was about how big and bold like Canada is going to be an economic superpower. I'm like, where's all this stuff coming from? Like, it sounds great, but I mean, put it into action, buddy.
158 years ago, a few provinces bet on a big idea, that they'd be stronger together than they ever could be apart.
We didn't bet on that, by the way. Saskatchewan, Alberta just got fucking bamboozled into the thing without a say.
They were right. They became a new federation that's now grown into our strong, bilingual, multicultural, ambitious country. A country built on the values of freedom, democracy, justice, generosity, and humility, because we know that we can always be better. Our story didn't begin at Confederation. For thousands of years, Indigenous peoples have called this land home. And our country's next chapter will be written together in true partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. Our shared history has been marked by inflection points, moments where Canada has had to step up. On the battlefields of Vimy Ridge in World War I, on the beaches of Normandy in World War II, and in the homes of Gander after the 9/11 terror attacks. Now we face another such moment. The world is changing. Old friendships are fraying. Our economy is being buffeted by a trade war we didn't start. Our values are being tested by attacks on democracy and freedoms that we must resist. As the world becomes more divided and dangerous, Canadians are uniting. Together, we will build one Canadian economy, connected by major projects, powered by Canadian energy, transformed by Canadian technology, and crafted by Canadian workers. Together, we're breaking down barriers across this country so you can buy Canadian everywhere and work anywhere. Together, we'll rebuild, rearm, and reinvest in our armed forces, because Canadian leadership is defined not only by the strength of our values, but also by the value of our strength. This is the greatest nation on earth. Together, we'll keep making it even better. Happy Canada Day.
It's really infuriating that they just blame the economy on Trump and the trade war. Like, you broke this country for 10 years. It was a disaster. And it's not any better, of course, but it's just so frustrating. That's the one thing I wish Trump wouldn't have, got Canada embroiled in all this. Because I think he's still, and I've never backed down on saying that he really wants Canada. He wants North America. Everybody's like, most of the influencers in Canada, Canadian YouTube media and all that are saying, oh, he's not serious about that. He's just joking. No, he is serious. He wants to be king of North America. He wants Canada for many legitimate reasons.
King, baby.
Right? Don't you think?
Yeah. Okay, let's change gears a little bit here. Do you remember this ad?
Yeah.
Live vivid. Delete ordinary. Break molds. It's a bunch of trannies in the video. Not all. Jaguar. So, as you recall, they went a little woke, remember?
Oh,
How do you
yeah.
think that went for him?
Oh, not good. Not good at all. No.
How much do you think sales declined?
Well, as percentage wise,
Yeah.
30%.
What do you think would be like the most extreme end of how much sales declined?
What do you mean, percentage wise? Like 80%.
Jaguar sales plunged 97.5% in Europe after disastrous copy nothing woke rebrand. The company sold just 49 cars in April 2025 throughout Europe, following backlash over the company's rebrand. Jaguar's Europe sales plunged from 1,961 units in April 2024 to just 49 vehicles in April 2025.
Wow. Well, there's something wrong with those stats. There's got to be some other problems or some other restrictions going on. But
Let's see what the comments say.
well, hang on. Yeah, there was somebody referencing the 97.5. I wouldn't mind seeing what they said.
It says they pretty much stopped making cars.
Oh yeah. Go read that whole comment there.
It had little to do with the terrible advertising campaign and more to do with the fact that they pretty much stopped making cars in order to retool, etc., for the next generation of Jaguar.
That's kind of what I was getting at. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think they would sacrifice that much for retooling. You would want to keep your business going close to where it was, wouldn't you? I mean,
this guy says that Jaguar didn't produce any cars.
Yeah, retooling. So scroll down to the other guy that said 97% somewhere. I just want to see what his comment said. It sounded like he was analyzing.
97% was the main post.
No, I know, but the comments on it. If you scroll slowly, I'll catch it here quickly. A couple more down. What after this guy? After
Texas told me that only queers drive Jaguars.
They're calling them Fagwars now, right? Keep going a little bit. Right there. Jaguars 97's cash shows their woke copy. Was it that Trump's been right all along? Businesses that ditch their core customers for trendy ideologies, tank hard, stick to. I don't know, like how he put Trump in there, but yeah, that's the problem, right? I mean, honestly, it's like, what's your brand? What's your customer base? And do you want to lose a bunch of your customers? I mean, I do think it had an impact.
Impossible Foods. What was that?
Has Impossible Foods lost $5 billion suing me? Guys, today's 1,527 of Impossible Foods suing my company, Impossible. And today we're digging into how they're losing billions of dollars fighting dumb lawsuits. All right, so this is a chart of Impossible Foods funding rounds and valuations over time. You can see it's gone from
boring.
So go scroll down. Wait, scroll down. And that guy, off-road trucker. What does he says?
This is Jaguar's sales collapse. There's a cautionary tale for luxury car brands considering similar rebranding strategies. Because the thing is, they're probably going to retool to go electric, which isn't going to go great either.
Yeah.
Nonsense sales fell because Jaguar decided to stop making ICE cars. Maybe a strange decision. So maybe a couple of bad decisions. Maybe
it could have been a perfect storm of retooling and bad branding. I mean, is that possible? Like, why? Well, okay. Here's the thing. Why would you put a brand? Why would you time a rebranding like this around when you're stopping production? Like, doesn't that seem a bit crazy too? As if you were marketing, would you do this whole effort, this whole campaign right when you're ramping down your production? So what's the point of that? And you haven't even retooled yet and brought out your new cars?
Seems more like you'd ramp down production when you realize that you were fucked and come up with some sort of a cover. Let's do a shutdown, boys.
Yeah, let's retool. We're retooling because nobody is buying. 49 people bought cars in April. So you want to do a poll? You want to do a poll quickly?
Wait, let me do this one. Oh no, go ahead.
Let's do a poll together. We'll do another poll. This is another poll chat. This is should Canada build cross-country pipeline? Take the poll. Your vote counts. You ready?
Isn't it just one yes/no question?
No, it's not. I stopped it halfway through. Canada is one of the largest oil producers, yet some provinces still rely on imported oil. Isn't that weird, eh? Recently, several provincial leaders are pushing to build a cross-country pipeline, arguing that it could help increase energy independence and diversify trade partners. Do you support building one?
Yes.
Strongly support. Next.
Strongly.
There's a nice train picture. Which of the following statements best reflects your view on Canada's energy market and its reliance on imports? Canada should use its own oil. Imports make sense if they're cheaper. We need pipelines to solve this. Oh, hang on. Select up to 3. Energy independence isn't realistic. A mix of domestic and imported is best. It's more about politics than oil. Canada needs more diverse energy options. Not sure, and other. So I'm going to say Canada.
Use its own oil.
Okay. And then we need pipelines to solve this. And it's more about politics than oil.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Canada's currently exports 97% of its crude oil to the U.S. Some say this makes us vulnerable to tariffs, while others see the U.S. as a reliable partner. Do you agree that Canada should diversify its energy trade market?
Somewhat agree.
Okay. Next. Quebec Premier Francois Legault recently reaffirmed his.
I somewhat agree. I just want to caveat that by saying, well, we should just build more pipelines to the states because they want to buy way more, and it would be way cheaper.
And we should supply provinces. I mean, and we supply our own first, right? Our own provinces first. And they don't mention that how much of that 95% comes back up through the border to the east.
Not a ton.
Not a ton. So Legault recently reaffirmed his opposition to a cross-country pipeline project, citing a lack of social acceptability. I mean, that should not be any, like, we should cancel social acceptability. That needs to be canceled and ridiculed.
And EB just, well, I mean, social acceptability would be the voters, wouldn't it?
Well, no, they're making it up, man. They make it up. This is the problem. It's engineered social acceptability. If it was legit, organic.
You don't think that the dopes in Quebec are against it? I mean, you got to remember that most of the people voting for it live like far, far away from where the pipeline's ever going to be, in like Montreal apartments and stuff.
They're against it because they're brainwashed by the WEF and all this climate change bullshit. I mean, this is the problem. It's all engineered. Yet a public survey shows over 60% of Quebecers support the project. See, well, that's interesting. So he's just using that virtue signaling aspect. What do you think?
And said he wouldn't support lifting the tanker ban either. The pipeline to the West Coast is pointless.
What do you think are the main reasons for Quebec's opposition? Quebecers oppose national projects crossing their borders. It's about provincial autonomy, and environmental concerns matter most. It's a negotiation tactic, political strategy, appeasing local voters, not sure. So select up to 3. I'd say the first one. Quebecers oppose national projects crossing their borders, right? Why do you think are the main reasons for Quebec opposition? Environmental concerns matter most. Not that I agree with that, but that's why they think. And then what? Political strategy, appeasing local voters?
Hey, thanks, Timmy. Go back up for a sec.
Timmy Bush with a $20 super sticker.
I think it's go down. I'll go with yours. Yours are fine.
Yeah, it's because it's a weird one because it's saying what are the main reasons for their opposition, right? So brainwashing is not in there. In your view, how likely is Quebec to collaborate on a cross-country pipeline in the near future? Oh, this is a good one. What do you think?
I think somewhat likely.
All right. Next.
I think they're just going to force it through. Does that count as collaborating?
Yeah, they're not going to have a choice. Gas prices go up and down, influenced by factors like fuel imports, government propaganda, and transportation costs. Do you think more pipelines would lower gas prices?
Yes. Probably not for me, but for the East.
We're almost there. 7 of 9. Do you think the federal government should make the building of a cross-Canada pipeline a high priority? Oh, my God. It's just unbelievable. Yes. Okay. How would you rate the Canadian media's coverage of the cross-Canada pipeline debate?
Poor.
Yeah. I mean, I just have to say poor because it's like no matter what the topic is, it's just not. It's not going well. If there were news media outlet in Canada that is politically unbiased and acting in the interest of the public, would you like to try it?
Isn't that what we do?
This is what I got now. This is where I got to sign up to Epic Times or what?
This is the sales pitch. This whole thing is the sales pitch.
I'm just getting sucked right in now. Now I gotta fucking
Say
go
no.
through like saying
Say
no
no.
10 times.
Say no. I'm happy with my current.
You're almost done. Oh no, see? Oh, no, I gotta do it again.
Here we go again. Get survey results.
Grimericans.com. Oh,
You
maybe
know.
later. See, I knew it. I'm gonna have to. Did you know only 32% of Canadians trust the media? Here's how you can stay informed without the bias. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, you don't have to read the ad. It's bad enough that you got roped into another survey.
My God, here, cancel whenever you want. $1 for $6 months.
What did-
Almost
did they-
free.
Did they email you the results?
Skip. Okay, I'll check. Okay, thank you. I mean, you gotta give it to them. Didn't I sign up for the $1 the last time I got sucked into this?
I think you did. Yes.
And I'm still getting
For another
sold in.
$1 now?
Okay, here we go. We got the poll results.
Here we go.
I'm gonna have to click. If I click on this, the results, is it gonna take me through the other view in browser? Should I view it in the browser?
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this is the results of our poll. Oh, what happened to it?
Come on.
What happened to it there?
That's it. It's just an ad. There are no results.
No, you know what it is? It opened up in my default browser, so I should redo that like that. There we go. So here it is in the other browser. Thank you for taking the time, blah, blah, blah. 4,000 respondents collected so far. So yeah, of course, they 94% agree with us there. Yeah, everybody's going to agree with us. Yeah. 97% strongly agree.
Like climate change.
Yeah.
That was
let's
pretty
see.
split.
Yeah, that one's pretty split. In your view, how is Quebec to collaborate? Somewhat likely was the number one. Gas prices go up and down. Yes, that means lower prices. So yeah, most of the people are on our side here. Do you think federal government should make the building of cross? Yes, 95%. Wow. How would you rate Canada's media coverage? Poor, 42%, average 28%. So less than average or less is 70%. And there we go. Done.
But up. All right. How do you think the elbows up movement and boycott in America is working out for the Indians?
Well, I don't know. BC just gave them a bunch of land.
Yeah, but that's different. I mean, federally.
I don't know. Oh, okay. You saw this. Okay, good.
It seems like the Americans have finally had enough of our crap and they've started to boycott us, which is evidenced by the fact that we haven't been able to sell a Canadian trip, really. You know what I mean? Like everything else kind of almost sells out with the Canada stuff.
Actually, we should think about that when we're organizing with Brad and Randall, that like it might not be like I know Brad wants this.
I think Randall's crowd would push through.
Okay.
It's Métis fishing.
Mostly just because they've done other international stuff, a lot of them. So, but yeah, I mean, Canada, a lot of people won't come to Canada. It's worth thinking about.
Its Métis fishing guide Dean Work has promoted his charters on BC's Fraser River to national and international clients, but he hasn't reeled in many Americans since the start of Donald Trump's trade war.
We probably lost $250,000.
Donald Trump's trade war.
Oh yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to spin this.
In bookings this year.
He's not alone. The Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada recently surveyed about 100 tourism businesses that are majority Indigenous owned or operated. Nearly 70% are reporting a drop in U.S. bookings. The association says U.S. tourists account for 30 to 35% of overall revenue, and that the industry could lose as much as $500 million this summer.
Hundreds of jobs.
You know, my hometown is pretty dependent on American tourism. I wonder how all that's going.
If not thousands of jobs are at stake here if the season does continue to see declines.
So I didn't live off Western.
Why Didn't we see this coming as politicians, like Canadian
That's
politicians?
what
Why
they're
are they fighting back? It's their fault. This is all the Canadian politicians' fault.
Oh yeah, I blame them too. And here's
Getting
the
into a
thing:
trade war with the States is the stupidest thing, and partnering with Europe, come on.
and how much you want to bet that most of the people that have businesses that serve U.S. bases were just as caught up in the elbows up because they can't see past their own noses.
Medicine.
Talese Campo's tourism company takes people on nature walks, teaching them how Indigenous people use the land. She says about 1,000 corporate guests are no longer coming this summer.
We've been building these relationships for the past 21 years, and to see them go, it makes me sad.
The federal government says it's monitoring developments in this important sector and remains engaged with all tourism partners, including Indigenous.
Think we could get some of that Indigenous money? We'll say that our shit's affected by it.
Yeah, well, we are. I mean,
Well, yeah.
they're trying to make a living. So these elbows up people, my Nepean sister, says David F. included, blindly believe anything her MSM tells her. It's so sad. She refuses alternate opinions and dismisses my independent media with eye rolls. I know, it's like they will not talk about it. It's like it was like the boomers before the election. They're like, you start asking them questions, talking. They're like, no, we can't discuss this. It's like, I have my opinion and we can't discuss it. Anyways, all right, what's next?
I think I'm going to wrap up my stuff there. If you want to get into the OECD stuff.
All right.
I got this one about the dude who died in in custody, a convicted drug trafficker.
Oh, that was another furious one, right? They're like blaming ICE. And there's all these influencers on X just like, oh, look, oh my God, a Canadian guy. Look what ICE did, this Canadian guy. Then you look at the details of it and it's kind of messy.
Noviello was found unresponsive in custody. He was subsequently given CPR and shocked with a defibrillator. So maybe they choked him out. ICE deportations have been at the center of growing political polarization.
See, this is what just gets me fed up with the whole thing, right? Did you hear it? Did you hear? Right? He hasn't been in Canada for years and years, like decades. He was under, what do you call it when you're under warrant for drug trafficking and stuff? Like, there's a bunch of shit going down with the guy, right? It's not like he was an innocent Canadian that just got caught up.
Here's the deaths per year. So this year there's 10 of them. Here's the Canadian guy here, right? Oh, no, he's not even on. Is he on here yet? I don't see him. So 2024, there's a bunch. 2023, only 4. 3 in 22. 5 in 2021. Oh, holy shit. Look at all the ones in 2020.
This is death for what? Like Canadians in custody?
This is just deaths in ICE custody, period.
Oh.
2020 is definitely the worst.
Well, COVID, I mean, that could add something to do with it.
Could have, yeah. But yeah, here's half of these are from 2024. So
I mean, they're just killing. They gave them an excuse to just kill more of them and call it COVID. You know, oh, they died from COVID. Boom, boom, boom. Another one died of COVID today.
That's how they get you. Just put a bag over their head and.
Well, do you want to play around with some OECD stuff then? Is that what you think? What should we do?
Yeah, let's jump into that.
All right. So this is from
part of the title.
What?
It's part of the title. So.
I know I should do it then. I mean, I've been wanting to do this with you just to see what's going on here. This is the OECD, the actual website. We're just going to like live browse through some of the stuff to see how Canada is doing compared to all these other developed countries. So the OECD is the, oh, now I don't have one open to read the definition of the website, but let's just, so I've got a couple tabs open here. And I haven't really gone through this, but I do know there's some good graphs and some interesting stats in here. Like it's full of data. Now, not that I'm really like trying to verify the data, but these guys did confirm Canada's excess death data in 2021, 22, and half of 2023 before things started to get shut down a little bit. anyways, this is unemployment rate. So I think we can just see here where it'd be fun to see where Canada is in this. Let's just see here. Let's see if I can change this to Canada. I thought I had it in. Oh, here we go. So I guess here's the average, the OECD here. So 4.9%. And where's Canada in here? Canada's right here, down at 6.9%. So not doing too good compared to probably the bottom quarter. But the youth unemployment is really bad for Canada. It's at 19% right now, I think, but I don't know if they have that here. So there is a way where you can actually change the countries and get specific graphs. Like I can pick a graph for Canada, the US, and OECD, or like just Canada compared to the OECD. But let's do a couple other tabs and see if we want to go deeper into some of these. So this is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. That's the company. That's what it is. This is featured topics, tariffs, events, newsletters, job opportunities. I wanted to go to.
Is the OECD basically just another WEF?
No, I think they're just more. I think they're more. I mean, I don't know this. The feeling I get is they're sort of more of a neutral organization that just does stats and data.
Down to the bottom. Go back down to the bottom. Very bottom. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development.
Yeah.
How can we find out who's on the board of this thing?
Well, we could probably go right over here and say, see about the organization.
Yeah.
Who we are. International organization that works to build better policies for better lives. We draw on more than 60 years of experience and insights to shape policies that foster prosperity and opportunity, underpinned by equality and well-being. We work closely with policymakers. They sound like a bloody consulting firm. Policymakers, stakeholders, and citizens to establish evidence-based international standards and to find solutions to social, economic, and environmental challenges. From improving economic performance and strengthening policies to fight climate change to bolstering education and fighting international tax evasion, the OECD is a unique forum and knowledge hub for data, analysis, and best practices in public policy. Our core aim is to set international standards and support their implementation and help countries forge a path towards stronger, fair, and cleaner societies. So, I mean, most of that sounds okay, except for the climate change bullshit in there, but members and partners, you want to look at that. Organizational structure, the council, more than 300 committees, and the secretariat.
Go back for a sec, or go up for a sec. Oh, so that's just that's the Secretary General. Who's that guy?
Matthias Cormann.
Trying to find out who that is. You keep going.
Okay. I'll just go on members and partners here quickly. Oh, that's just all the member countries. So, Australia, Austria, all the way to Switzerland, UK, United States. Key partners, regional initiatives. So, yeah, it looks like they got, they've also partnered with G20, G7, and APEC. So, I mean, maybe they just get all their money through taxes and through grants through the countries and not from corporations and stuff. So while you're looking up that, I'm going to go to another tab here.
Belgian-born Austrian politician and diplomat who has served as a sixth Secretary General, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he's just typical globalist, seems like.
So here's Canada and the OECD. So I clicked on Canada and we can see some stuff here. Here's some selected indicators for Canada. So here's our population projections. This is interesting, eh? So here's so we're going to be at, where are we right now? 2020. Whoa, wow, we're way down here. Okay, that 2025, I'm going to scroll up here. 2025, we're at almost 41 million, right? Okay. And we should be, by 2030, we should be at 43 million. I'm going to scroll all the way up to 2049. We should be at 50 million. So that's a fairly steady climb there. Here's the real GDP forecast. So we're way down at the bottom here. I wonder if that's the US. Israel is up there at the top. Costa Rica, Poland. That's a growth rate as a percentage there. So Canada's way down towards the bottom of that. I don't even know if that's, if they're looking at the last 10 years, that seems pretty ambitious for Canada. Here's our expenditure. So Canada versus the OECD. Look at this. This is our
Go down to the next one. Life
R&D.
expectancy at birth.
Life expectancy at birth. Ooh. Canada was at 82.3, and then we went down to 81.6. Quite a dip there after 2018. We went down 2019, 2020. Oh, that's kind of old. Those stats are missing. Ooh, I'd like to see this in a few years when we get to 2021 to 2025. Okay, here's a good one too. Income inequality. Canada's about a third of the way, half the way. Tax on, oh, look at this one. Tax on personal income. Here's Canada way the fuck up there. And there's the OECD average. And again, that only goes to 2021. So this is old data. Why are they so late on all the data? And here's government debt. Canada is below on that. Interesting. Here's household debt.
The others just borrowed a bunch of money for guns and shit.
Here's the household debt percentage of net disposable income. So Canada was already almost leading. So they're under Luxembourg, Korea, Sweden, Australia, Switzerland, Norway, Netherlands, and Denmark for household debt. Wonder where the United States is on that one. So here's some dashboards. Let's see. This might be where you can filter some of the stuff here. Regional urban development. Fun to play around in here anyways and get some interesting dashboards. Let's see if we got what's development.
Education and skills.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Here, let me see what I'll click off those ones and see what comes up. Education equity.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what that is. I guess I'm supposed to click on dashboard there. Oh, here it comes up here. Start exploring.
Lame.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a lame dashboard. Okay, forget that. Let me back up.
Dead end.
Yeah, dead end. Trade. Okay, we got to get back to Canada. Let me see if there's more here in Canada. I thought there was more stats that you could actually just see all the data. Maybe it's here. Trusted statistics supporting evidence-based policy, blah, blah, blah. Inflation since the 90s. So here's probably where you can change what that is. All items. So who's this for then? This is that must be for OECD altogether. So that goes to 2024. February, that goes all the way to March 2025. So I'd like to see Canada's on that. So if I go to that source, is it going to come up?
Oof.
Yeah. Interesting. So I wonder if I can change it to no, I don't think this is where it is. I'm going to go back to the other one.
Abort.
Gender wage gap.
Ooh.
Ouch. Real gross domestic product, pension funds assets, tax revenue.
Go to GDP probably.
Oh, there's OECD right in the center there. Okay, this might be where I can get. Okay, here we go. So here's where I can. So here we go. So Canada. and OECD, just to do that comparison. So look at how far back we are on GDP,
Almost half.
for example. So I like that. I like how you can just pick, they compare some countries here. Like let's go into, let's see, the United States and Canada and OECD.
Man, that's 2.5 to 1 almost. 3 to 1.
Not that I even honestly agree with the GDP. Like I don't really agree with what some of that stuff, is in there. But maybe we can try and click on that and get the same downloaded in the PDF. So here's where I should be able to get inflation. Oh no, I'm back to this thing again.
You already went to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Where'd you get to that other one where you could click on gender wage gap?
Oh yeah, that was one back, I think. Yeah, there it is. You want me to check that out? So there's where's Canada in here? Oh, Canada's way up here.
You're doing well on that.
I just think that's even a weird.
It's a weird one. Go to tax revenue then, quick.
Okay, let's just go to tax revenue and see where we're at. Okay, this is as a percentage of GDP. So where is Canada in here? Let's just take
it on the list.
Yeah, let's just take out. It only shows every second one. So let's pick a couple here. United States, OECD average country, and the US and Canada. Let's see how we're doing. So Canada's above the average and the United States is way down. So that's interesting.
35% of our GDP is from tax revenue. How's the states getting it then? Where do they get the extra tax? They're just taxing less?
Yeah, they're taxing less.
Where do they make up the GDP?
Tax on personal income. So this is where it gets cool. Oh, look at Denmark. Tax on income. Holy, way up there.
Compared to Greece, which is almost 0.
So Canada's got to be up towards the top here. Iceland, there's Canada, 4th. Yeah, we're doing pretty good there. We're 4th there, 12.75. So United States is actually still up higher than a lot of the other ones. I like that one. So let's do tax on goods and services just to see. Now that we're figuring this out, Canada will be up to the top of that probably too.
Now we're down to the bottom, but the states is still half of us.
Wow. Look at that, eh? Tax on goods and services. Look at there's a real step down to the states. This is why things are cheaper there, eh? Tax on payroll. We didn't do that one. Oh my God. Look at these ones that don't have tax on payroll. Oh,
that's where we need to be.
Where are we in here? Oh, there we are.
Canada, 0.77.
That seems weird. A percentage. Oh, that's a percentage of GDP. Is the states in there? Where's the states? Where's the OECD average on that one? Let me just do Canada, United States. Oh, they don't have the OECD average, so I'll just do Canada and the States. There we go.
Oh,
Thanks.
Elbows up, baby.
Elbows up.
All right, that's probably enough.
Yeah, that's enough, I think. Yeah, I just wanted to play around in there for a bit with you. I do want to get this inflation one figured out, how to pick Canada, how to get Canada in that one, because I figure that we're probably worse than most.
I agree.
Oh, here we go. Consumer prices, G7. Huh. OECD average, total inflation and its components. Yeah, I don't know. We don't seem to be doing as bad on that one for some reason. So they've got, this is where they partner with the G7, I guess, and pull out all these G7 stats for everybody. We should do the same graphs by country, CPI, inflation. I mean, see, there's a lot to look. You could play around in here for a while and pull up some pretty good graphs. This is where I found all the excess deaths by country, by country and year.
They removed that though now, right?
No, I don't know. I don't think I have time to search around for it, but yeah, you know what I want? There's that other one that those people that were pushing back. There's another data, like a global data conglomerate that we should probably have the guy on our other show, or we should probably do search around there. So Our World in Data, I think, is what it's called. It'd be fun to do some searching around in there too.
Absolutely. If you guys enjoyed the show, head over to a-list.ca. You can sign up there for the podcast. You can share it. You can support it. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out Grimerica.ca for our other show. Contact at thecabin.com for trips and events. Adultbrain.ca for audiobooks, ebooks, print books, and all that sort of fun stuff. And I think that's it. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for sharing the work. And we will be back on Friday with another show, probably.